Okay, well, welcome everyone. So glad to
Hello.
see you all. Welcome to the Free at Last book talk. We are so excited. This is the book that we're discussing on today. It's a beautiful book, and we're excited to have the author and the illustrator with us on today. So I just want to encourage everyone to just pass it out, share the link. We want as many people as we can to join this call and to be a part of this conversation as we discuss this book. And also, if you don't have the book, we want to encourage you to go to the docbookshop.com and order the book. So, or you could come to the store. We have plenty in store as well. But we want to make sure that you get this book in your library. It's a must-have. It's a must-read and a must-have. So let's get started. Let me just go ahead and introduce myself for those who don't know. My name is Donna Craddock. I am co-owner of the Doc Bookshop. The Doc Bookshop, we're an independent bookstore on the east side of Fort Worth, and we've been around for about 14 years. We celebrated 14 years in May. And so, yeah, we even survived the pandemic. Yeah. So we're excited about that. And let me go ahead and introduce our author on today, Sojourner Kincaid Rolle. And let me go ahead and read her bio. Sojourner Kincaid Rolle is a poet, playwright, environmental educator, and a cultural and peace activist. She is known for her work raising awareness of BIPOC history and is guiding elder for the Juneteenth Santa Barbara and Healing Justice Santa Barbara. Sojourner was named Poet Laureate of Santa Barbara from 2015 to 2017. For nearly 30 years, she has led poetry workshops in schools and youth development programs. She is the author of 7 books of poetry and 6 plays, and she lives with her husband in Santa Barbara. Welcome, Ms. Rolle. We are so excited to have you with us today.
Well, I am equally excited to be here.
Thank you. And also on the call, we have this wonderful illustrator of the book. I mean, when you purchase this book and go through the book, you're just going to be amazed at the drawings and the renderings in this book. But we have Mr. Alex Bostic with us.
Thank you.
And Alex has been honing his skills since he was a little boy, growing up in Brooklyn, New York. His earliest works were crayon drawings on brown paper bags and his own comic book series. Wonderful. Alex earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Illustration from Pratt Institute and later received his Masters of Arts in Illustration from Syracuse University. As a traditional figurative artist, Alex uses lights and the human form to create work that depicts the lives of everyday people, and you will definitely see it in this book. He is fortunate to have a career that spans over 40 years as an illustrator, earning him recognition in numerous national and international awards. We're so excited, and thank you to both of you for taking time out of your schedule and joining us on today.
Thank you for having us.
Now, this book, when we first saw the book, and actually we actually met you, Ms. Rolle, at the Texas Library Association, and we were so thrilled to meet you because when I seen this book, I was just so excited. I said, I have to interview her. and so I'm just glad it's finally coming to pass. So just what is your inspiration for this book? I mean, who is your inspiration? Like how did this book come about?
Okay, well, let me just say, just as a little anecdote, at the Texas Library Association, I was there to be a part of the poetry panel. And during the first morning, I was just wandering around and I saw your booth. And I know the Black Bookstore, which was not that many. I don't know whether there was another one at the conference or not, a lot of people. Anyway, I came right up and I said, oh, I'm glad to see you guys. And I want to introduce you to something about my book. And I think I might have had a flyer with me or my business card. And I must have spoken to another person who worked in your booth. And I was saying, and she said, well, what's the name of your book? And I said, it's about Juneteenth. And you, I think you turned around, or your sister, and said, oh, is it free at last? And yes. You were already thinking that we'd reach out to you. And so it was just a magical kind of happening. And so I went back and got more materials and brought them to you at your booth. And I was so happy to hear from you and have an invitation to do this talk. Now, to go back to what my inspiration is, the book is dedicated to two women, one of whom is a Texan, my friend, Mrs. Maddie Brewer, who lives in San Antonio. She lives in San Antonio. She's been my good friend, but she used to live in Santa Barbara. And back in 1989, she and I were both a member of the Martin Luther King Committee, and we were a year-round arts presenting committee. So we would do anything that had to do with Black History Month or anything to uplift the Black experience and Black knowledge and sound. And so one year in 1989, Maddie said to our committee meeting, why don't we have a Juneteenth? And most of us really on the committee didn't know about Juneteenth that much. We may have known of it, but she said, why don't we have one? And I was the staff for the King Committee. So it was my job to put together, where we're going to have it and all of that. And so I went and did research, and I created a fact sheet on Juneteenth from information that I pulled offline and her enthusiasm about it. But she's really the one who inspired me and helped us get into the Juneteenth. Now, Santa Barbara had Juneteenth before in previous years before I moved here and stuff, but that was my first experience. So that was the first effort. I put together the fact sheet for our Juneteenth event. And then
what year was that?
1989.
90, okay.
Yeah, so that's why we say 30 years ago or 30 some years ago. I had been in Santa Barbara about 3 or 4 years, and it wasn't a part of my upbringing. I think we used to celebrate Emancipation Day or the Emancipation Proclamation. I'm from North Carolina originally, lived in several places around the country. But in 1993, I also was in an arts group with another young woman. Her name was Yvette Sutton. And she, and I was doing a television show, and I invited her and another woman. Some of you from Texas, if you signed in, you may know, but these two women are from the Uvalde, not from Uvalde. My friend Maddie Brewer was originally from Uvalde, and you'll see that in the beginning of the book that's where she's from, the sadness there. But Yvette Sutton and a woman who lives here in Oxnard, she's another poet, her name is Daisy Cotton. And I invited them to be on my TV show. And Yvette had put together a Juneteenth celebration as a part of a project that she was working on. She was an artist. And so I interviewed them. And they were from the region of Galveston. Some, I think they talked about I can't think of the town that they talked about, and maybe the Comanche River. There were some areas around that. The Comanche Crossing, is that a place in Texas? They talked about that. And so we had a whole half-an-hour interview about Juneteenth. So that was my second experience with really and being involved with Yvette. And then fast forward to 2004, which is where the poem came in. My friend, Mrs. Valencia King Nelson, who had moved from Santa Barbara after being here for a number of years, back to Anniston, Alabama, and she started an online research project, the African Ancestry research data. It was based out of the University of Mississippi. And it was one of the first places online where people started doing African descendant genealogy. And there was a magazine called Afrogenius, and she had invited me to be the poet for Afrogenius. So I sent them a poem every month. And one month she called and said, she wrote to me and said, we're going to do a special page on Juneteenth. Could you send us something? And that was all I had in the way of instruction. And I took my fact sheet that I had created years before. I keep everything. And I made it into a poem, and I sent her the poem. She put it online in 2004. It's still online, the Afrogenius Juneteenth page. And it's been there all these 18 years until Sterling Books discovered it in 2020 and wrote and asked if I would be interested in my poem being an illustrated children's book. So that's the story of my Juneteenth poem.
Awesome.
Wow.
Okay, well, thank you for
Wow.
sharing. Okay, now, Alex, real quickly, can you share with us on how you two met or how you collaborated? How did y'all?
This is the first time I'm meeting her.
Yes.
No, it is not. No.
It is. This is the first time I've ever met her or spoke to her.
This is an
Wow.
historic moment.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. And we're a part of that?
Yeah,
is
yeah.
amazing.
She emailed me and asked me would I be part of this, and I was thrilled to get an email from her. And so I said, sure, I'm all in.
Yeah,
But this is
well,
the first contact was a couple of days ago,
yeah,
and
Wow.
then today when I
Yeah.
actually met her face to face and heard her
Yeah.
voice.
Amazing. So when you got the assignment to do this book, I mean, were you hesitant, or how did you feel when you actually
Well,
got
the
the
thing
project?
about it came about, well, they contacted a friend of mine named James Ransom to ask him if he would do it. And he's loaded up. He's really well known. I'm sure you got about 20 of his books in your store. But he's a good friend of mine.
Yes.
And he said, no. And they said, can you recommend somebody? He says, well, I'll recommend Alex Bostic because he'll be really good. So they said, has he ever done a book before, children's book before? He said, no, but he'll do a good job.
So this is your first children's
This is
book.
my first children's book.
Awesome. Okay.
So Sterling Publishing called me. They're Union Square Press now. And they asked me would I be interested? And I said, well, yeah, let me read it first. And found this beautiful, gorgeous poem. And I started sketching before I agreed on a contract, because the imagery was so strong. The words had, like when I read words, I see pictures. And I've always done that since I was a little boy. I mean, if I hear a song, I make up my own pictures. If I read a book, I make up my own pictures. So it's not, if I do like a Sam Spade book that I'm reading, because I love reading, Sam Spade would be black. I didn't care who it is. I make up visuals in my own head. And that's why I became an artist. And so they gave me the poem. Then we signed the contract and I proceeded. And it both had been another deadline, but we're still in the middle of COVID, things change. But it wound up working out perfectly because this is the first official Juneteenth holiday,
Oh, yes.
Just
Very-
really,
very
really,
significant.
really, it just sort of fell into place through God's grace, that now it all makes sense, But it, in a few words, it was fun to do. It was a pleasure and fun at the same time.
So can you share with us kind of your process? And I'm just really curious, like just the
Well,
artist
the
and the
process
illustrator,
is
like
now-
where
now
are you
I-
getting your images? You said it's in your head, but I mean,
Yeah.
you
So I
have,
could start drawing. I did a bunch of sketches, thumbnails, little teeny drawings. Then I blew them up. Then I sent it to Sterling, and because they need to see where I'm going with it. And I, in the beginning, I had a bunch of drawings that needed to be changed. And so I changed the drawings. I just said, okay, I see what you're talking about. So I changed it, came up with my imagery. Then they signed off on it. And then I just started drawing, painting, getting models.
okay, so that's what I have to ask. So because these, I mean,
They're real
the
people.
pictures are so
All
it's
of
so detailed.
every single one of those are real people.
Okay,
Then I started
wow.
ordering costumes and all kinds of stuff, going on location, photographing, going to Texas, try to find out as much of real documentation I can get my eyes on and my hands on. And I created the imagery according to, real life locations as much as I can. And real life, all the clothing are authentic. I ordered it and they started getting models and
Wow.
it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if our audience can see this, but like the detail, I just love this book. I really do.
well,
This is
if I could say,
seriously, you all, I mean, you all really have really created a classic. I mean, this book
It was
is
a really good
wow.
collaboration.
Awesome.
well,
Now,
we have to, if I could say, the art director, they didn't let me meet Alex, but they sent me 3 illustrators to choose to select, or not to select, but to have my input into. And of course, Alex just stood out from, I think that was the setup, maybe. Because I wrote them back immediately.
Yeah.
I wrote them back immediately and said Alex Bostic, and they wrote me back immediately, said we chose him too. And
Oh,
so
wow.
that was it. But there was a creative director, and they told me that I couldn't have any final say on the art, but I could have input and give my input.
Yeah.
And that's the process that Alex spoke about, with him sending drawings and me seeing them and giving my idea. But their creative art department at Sterling Books, Joe, I can't say her last name, but I'm sure that's who Alex worked with, and I
Yeah,
worked with
Joe, yeah.
Susie, and they were just fantastic to work with. And every step they would send me pictures, and but I even when we get a little bit more into it, I want to ask Alex about just a couple of things that are in the imagery that he chose. But I am so thrilled. I can't even feel like it's like my book. I feel like I'm just a part of the team, and that my poem was sort of the basis that they started with. But really, this project was all of us that put it together.
And it really is a collaboration and a masterpiece. I mean, this book is just so profound. Now, real quick, now, Ms. Roll, I want you to share with us just a quick read, but can you put your screen down a little bit? I know we had to adjust. And
I don't even know how to.
I want to see your neck. Like, put it down.
You can only see my neck.
No, I want to see, because it seems like you're like this, and I'm like, okay, there you are. I just want to see. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna have to stay over this way because that's where the lights are.
Yeah, that's good. Right there. Right there is great.
See, I'm just holding it, so it's gonna be hard for me to read.
Oh, you can't put it against anything? Okay, never mind then. Never mind.
Hold on. I don't know whether anybody in the room with me might be willing to hold the book for me, or the computer for me, while I read from the book. He's not paying attention. Rod.
That's family.
I don't think he can hear me. You might have to give me a little bit of time to work on that, and maybe you have another question.
Oh, yeah.
Could you hold the computer for me while I read something from the book? Now I got
Please, Rob, please. I want to make sure I see your earrings and all that. Okay, that's a good view right there.
it.
Okay.
Maybe if it comes back a little bit further from me. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Great view.
I'm about to hand it to him in just a few minutes. But keep talking. There's no air. I mean, we don't. Keep talking. Well,
Okay. While we're getting you together, I'm going to go back to Alex. Okay.
Okay, good.
So Alex, now you have a lot of beautiful renderings in this book.
Other way.
So which one, like which page stands out to you? Like what is your most proud? I know all of them are
the cover,
but
the cover for one.
the cover, of course, the cover.
Right. The cover, I've probably done about 20 different drawings for the cover. Yeah, but I like the one with the girl and the horse.
Oh,
You like
man.
that? Now what page is that one? Where you at? Oh, I don't really have a number on it. Let me find it. Okay. Oh, this one, I see it. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That's beautiful. Now, was that like a model? Was that like the whole?
Yeah, I had a model. I come in with his daughter, and then I live in Mississippi State. I teach at Mississippi State University, and it's ag. So I go up to the horse farm and take pictures of the horses and all the reference I need. Anytime it's animals, the chicken, everything is from the farm of the university. I grew up in Brooklyn, so it's like it was an adventure for me with the mud and the smell and everything else. Yeah. Oh, that was so much fun to do.
Yeah, I love it.
And then there's another one that I like a lot, which is.
So parents, I'm telling you, you got to get this book. Especially for your young ones. Which one is that? Okay, let me find that one. Okay.
That's near the front.
Now talk to me about that page. What's going on here?
Now,
how's that significant to you?
Well, I like it because I have a guy that mows my lawn, and that's him. He's a good guy, and as a matter of fact, he's in the first 2 pages is him.
Wow.
That's him giving the announcement, and he's also this guy.
You've immortalized him.
Yeah,
you really have.
And this is my daughter on the end.
Yeah, and you know what? I was looking at this book. I said, I wonder if this is like, it got to be real people.
Yeah,
So
they're
detailed.
all real people. They're students, ex-students, you know, and I
Awesome.
mean, you know, and then there's one more that I like. I mean, this is a nice one, and this one was fun to paint.
Beautiful.
But the one where the girl is praying.
You know
my
what? That
favorite.
touched me. I seen that one. I was like, oh, that is a profound picture right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are my favorites.
Yes.
Which you shouldn't have. You have baby, you should never have a favorite. But
You're absolutely correct. All the pictures are gorgeous, beautiful pictures. Now, Ms. Roll, are you ready for us? Oh no, your sound. Let's see if we can get the sound back. Boy, this technology demon, I tell you, it'll just messing with us, but that's okay. We're gonna persevere through it.
Mhm.
Are you able to get your sound back, Ms. Roll? Because we see you and you look lovely. We just can't hear you now.
I think.
Did he
whoever-
actually press a button?
I think a button was hit in the process.
Yeah,
It's the sound. Hold still.
there it is. We hear something.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
no, that's,
Yeah, we
but
can
it's
hear. it.
green now, so you should hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, I want to, so I want to get, first, Alex, I want to say that my 8-year-old nieces from Buffalo called me after they got the book, and I asked them what was their favorite picture, and they said the horsey, right off. And I think one reason young people like that page is because it's got a young person in it. It's got a child running, and I think it's just a picture of freedom.
Yeah.
You know, the horse, the child freely running, the chicken, you know. And some of you may notice, if you've seen the book, that a lot of this, you know, it's based on a sort of a pattern of what people did once they learned that they were no longer in bondage, legally in bondage. So this page, and the one that you also said that you liked best, the one with the woman sitting on the hill, and it's one I remember having some input into about that, Alex. You might remember my notes.
They send it to me.
And that it has the beautiful monarch butterflies. I have to ask you about that because monarchs are the butterflies of Santa Barbara, and they are such a representation from freedom as well. And my friend Allison, who's actually here on the Zoom, I've seen her picture. It took the picture. She wrote a review on Amazon, and she used a picture that she had taken on her back porch of a monarch coming out of his cocoon, inspired by the book, etc. But I want to read this particular page because it is one of my most favorite, and that it touched you.
Ms. Rowe, before you do, I see a finger. If they could put the finger down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, we're ready.
Some kept running like a stone on a hill, never to grasp a firm place to rest. Some even went to the promised land. Wherever they went, alone or abreast, at the end of their journey, they cried, "I've done my best." And I always say, the song, you know, a lot of my words are really extracted from Black vernacular, from the Black way of expressing themselves. And of course, the song that goes with that page is, "Oh, when I come to the end of my journey, weary of life, and the battle is won." And it goes on to say, "He'll understand and say, well done." So when you read that line at the end, I hope that it triggers for everyone who holds that song in great reverence in our culture. You know, that's just what I feel is part of the way that I write, is to be able to have language embedded in the poem that evokes the images that Alex has talked about and how he does his images out of his head. And I also want to say that when I see a picture,
the sound.
And that's what we call ekphrastic poetry. And I do participate a lot in writing poems based on pictures. And so I feel we have a mutual exchange there, going with how we approach just the whole concept of you know, descriptive writing.
Mhm.
that can go back and forth between the image and the word.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this book is such a beautiful ode to Juneteenth. And again, parents and friends, we just want to encourage you to add this book to your library. Please go to our website, thedocbookshop.com, and order this book. It's a must-have and it's a must-read. And it's a beautiful book. And it's just, and like we were just talking about earlier, just so timely. It's perfect timing for this book. And so definitely it's a keeper, and it's I think, I was reading several, I gotta find my little reviews, but I remember the Library Association is saying that this book here seriously is a must-have in all the classrooms. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited about this book, and I just want everyone to just make sure you add this book to your library. I can't say that enough. So go to our website, docbookshop.com, and order your book. Now let me see if we don't have to worry about Facebook right now, but let's see if the Zoom, do we have any questions, any comments from our audience on Zoom? Anybody want to ask a question?
Yes, I would like to ask Alex, his personal story or reflections are history of Juneteenth, and has he celebrated it over the years? And was that also an inspiration for the images?
No, I've never celebrated Juneteenth. I've heard about it, known about it, but it's celebrated like all over, but it's just that personally, no, until like I think this weekend I'm supposed to be going to an event. But I kind of don't like to be around people a lot. I mean, I know I teach, I do lectures, I do that, but a lot of people wear me out, and so I like to.
So you don't like crowds, huh?
No, and I'm from New York. That's ironic. Is that I'm from a really, really, really big city, and
I
crowded.
guess that's why you're not there anymore then, huh?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I live out in the country now, and the worst thing I got is cows going in my backyard eating my grass.
Wow.
There's farms all over, and I like it. I kind of like the isolation.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
great question.
Thank
I
you.
just want to add that I ordered a book from our local bookstore here, and I'll be buying more from you, and donated it to my little town's library. But my comment is that when I hate to support Amazon, but people do go there for reviews, and I don't think this is just a children's book.
Exactly. I agree. It's a family book. I mean, this is
yeah.
I have to agree with you.
Any age, 8 to 80, or 6 to 80 would tear up and learn from this beautiful, it is a masterpiece, and I congratulate you both.
Thank you.
I just want to say, and Alex, when I'm a retired public school teacher, 5th grade, and I used to tell my students, when you're reading a book, make a movie in your head.
Yeah.
You already knew that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. And I have to agree. This book, that's what I'm saying. This book is a masterpiece for Juneteenth, and she is so right. It's all families. I mean, young, old, everybody can really benefit from this book and learn from this book. And your poem. I'm going to close out, Miss Kate, with your poem, because someone did a poem. I found it on YouTube. And I'm going to share that so they can get the fullness of your poem, because it's a beautiful poem, a beautiful ode to Juneteenth. And so it's just wonderful.
My finger.
In any other, I'm sorry.
I have a finger up here. I don't know all the protocol, but I want to say for families, the author's note in the back, especially that asks me to write geared toward teachers and for parents to be able to read a broader story about my relationship to Juneteenth and what I think about it. And it explains a lot of maybe some of the, like when maybe slavery didn't end until December of the 13th Amendment, different other ideas about that. So much of the background that you can use in talking with younger people and your family about is what I've tried to include in my author's note. So I just wanted to bring that note to you. Yeah, about be sure and check out the back page.
Wonderful. Okay. And thank you, Ashley. Ashley says, I was trying to get to the store before tonight and will come and purchase your beautiful book on tomorrow. So thank you,
Okay, thank
Ashley.
you.
Yes, I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed with this book. In fact, I'm gonna put one on hold for you to make sure you get it because they are going kind of fast and we have like 20 events this weekend. So I'm gonna put one on hold for you, Ashley. Anyone else want to share? And also, I want to ask you, Ms. Roll, I don't want to keep asking all the questions. So y'all think of something in the chat or just holler out. But Ms. Roll,
Hey, let me just say before you go, I know I appreciate you being formal and I do appreciate being called Mrs. Roll, but everybody calls me Sojourner.
okay. So I just want to make sure you, okay, as long as you give me permission. So
Yes.
okay. What kind of in your own words, what does Juneteenth mean to you? Like what is the significance? I want to hear from you, your commentary on Juneteenth and the significance of it. And
Well, first of all, let's say that there are quite a few people in Santa Barbara where I've lived for 30 years, 30 more plus years, who have roots in Texas. And from the people
yeah.
who I've interviewed and talked to and written pieces about, it is something that is so a part of the culture for them. And it has spread so much, and they have a diaspora all over the country and other places in the world. But the fact that it means so much to the people of Texas, but to me, it is a symbol for freedom. And I think that it represents freedom. It is symbolic no matter what day it actually legally ended or was disrupted in this country. It symbolizes freedom. The idea of being able to do what you want to do, go where you want to do, think what you know what I mean, all of the ways in which I express ourselves as free human beings. And I would say that was one of the notes I wanted to give to Alex, is that he has so many images, from the horse to the butterflies to the birds, strewn throughout the illustrations. It's clearly a representation for freedom. And I think that Juneteenth symbolizes, and as people around the world and around the planet learn the meaning of Juneteenth, I think they will come to understand it as a representation for freedom as well. And so that is, and young people, and I want to say that the 2 8-year-old nieces, when I asked them what was their first favorite verse, they said, when their ancestors could sing, free at last, hallelujah, I'm free. And just think of that in a little child's voice. And I can't wait to hear all of the little recordings that are going to pop up on YouTube of young people reading this book as we move through this holiday and as we move forward in the years to come to celebrate Juneteenth.
when you mentioned that, she's referring to this page here, and
Yeah.
Juneteenth for me, it is so. It's emotional for me, actually. It's a happy time, and it's also a time of remembrance, because I can't, just imagine what our ancestors been through, and to be announced that they're free, and just trying to see what that looks like. It overwhelms me. Actually, Juneteenth really overwhelms me. But another thing about Juneteenth, and we had this conversation earlier, that is the nation is reckoning with Juneteenth. And so as a bookstore, we're kind of seeing that, and it's a beautiful thing, because it's time that everyone kind of embraces and just celebrates really African-American freedom. And so and we have this issue with the flag,
Oh, well,
and I tell people this is how we explain the flag, because this is a national thing now. There's 2 flags, because we've been doing Juneteenth forever, right?
Yeah.
Juneteenth has been going on forever, and we've been having our our red, black, and green colors. That's what we've been doing for Juneteenth. You know, we've been celebrating Juneteenth. Actually, I'm from Omaha, and we've been celebrating it for, you know, ever. You know, it's a strong part of my upbringing. And so, in fact, we actually led some Juneteenth festivals while we were in Omaha, and then we also did some in Texas. And so, Juneteenth is definitely a part of just my family upbringing. But you know, now though, it's just we just been having this conversation, and it's a wider, and it's kind of expanded. And so now it's like, now what is the colors for Juneteenth? And I tell people, I said, there's Juneteenth is it has two flags. It literally have two flags. You have your African-American flag, because we still going to do our red, black, and green, because red is for the blood, you know, green is for the land, and black is for the people. That's been the Juneteenth flag, and whatever African-American holiday there is, that's the colors that come out, whether it's Kwanzaa, Juneteenth, Black August, you know, Black History Month, you know, that's what, you know. And then now we also have this new flag that has
Red, white, and
red,
blue.
white, and blue with the star. And you know, that's I guess that's kind of what we share with the nation.
Yeah, and
And
that's why I
so-
use that. That's why I use that one to be more inclusive.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, I bought the flag and then, you know, kind of folded it up and painted it on my table.
Yeah, and I noticed that flag here, because you kind of open up the book with
Yeah.
this flag.
Mhm.
And that was the only comment that different people make on it,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
because they didn't see you know, the actual
Historic flag. Yeah.
the historic.
I bought both flags, but that one sort of resonate as far as color. You know, it's like if I want you to black is such a dominant color, it kind of drains out all other colors. And so that's why I use the other flag. But I mean, I always can change. I guess they can always put another page in it. And, but what I wanted to do was I wanted the front page to be one flag and the back page to be another flag.
And that would that would have
Yeah.
been a great idea.
But that would have been a cost. So
Yeah.
we had to make a choice.
So anyway, so just to mention that's my only commentary on that. And what else?
Oh, I just wanted to say that I deeply enjoyed the book.
Is
I've been
this, is
sharing it
this
with
a
my
South
niece,
Florida?
and who's very,
my
who's
God.
very, very busy. And I think one thing that resonated with her was we're talking, Audrey, was the butterflies as she was looking through the book. And I think Juneteenth is so important because you can reach another generation, and just from a historian perspective, I think it was just very well written, and the art was just very beautiful. So I appreciate the
you.
storyline and the ease
Beautiful.
of reading, especially when you're trying to teach a whole nother generation, because as new information comes out, the story needs to be told over and over again. And there's so many people that have passed and sacrificed and fought for this freedom, for this liberation. We don't even talk about the upwards of 180,000 African soldiers, Black soldiers that
Yeah.
fought for the freedom and emancipation of the African slaves. So, you know, this is all inclusive to, you know, remember that past. And with that past, I also talk about Texas history a lot. And so on a whole nother level, you know, what the star means at the particular time in history and what it would mean today. Because at the particular time in history, that one star was for the continuation of African enslavement. So, but overall,
Interesting. Well,
yeah.
you know, Diane, she teaches history here at the bookstore. So
Yeah, but for the children to know, it's a wonderful story to continue to teach a whole nother generation. As you can see, she was holding up, but her attention deficit. So
Yeah.
she say bye to everybody.
Can I
yeah,
ask a quick question? Is this a self-portrait in the
No,
back?
that's my oldest son.
Oh, okay. Okay,
And next to him is his younger brother.
okay.
I just love it. I love it.
Well,
So
I like the idea that, well, I saw another interview that Alex had participated in, and he said that that last page represents his ancestors passing down the story to his family.
Mhm.
And so that back page actually does represent Alex's family, I understand. Yeah.
wow. Yeah, that's beautiful.
So these are the inside stories.
Yeah, you got the scoop.
Got the scoop. And thank you so much for sharing the scoop on this beautiful book. And again, I just can't I just gotta keep saying it. I mean, you gotta have this book in your library. So in your family library, in your school library, you know, whatever library it is. Definitely get the book. We are at the hour. Oh, we got 4 more minutes. So let me just real quickly. I have one more. While I'm doing that, Alex, let everyone know how they can reach you, how they can, well, you I know you're a recluse, so you don't want to be bothered with, you just told us.
Well, my email is on my website. I have a
Okay,
website.
go to his
It's
website
at
is.
alexbostic.com,
Mhm.
and you can reach me. My phone number and email address is on that, in that location. Or you can reach me at Mississippi State University. I'm a professor there. And, you know, I teach in the Department of Art. And hopefully I can teach the next generation to produce books. But I like to say, I have nothing to draw unless I have beautiful words of Miss
Well,
Lily.
I'll send you some more words, Alex. I got plenty.
If you have more words, we can collaborate. We can just clear this place up. You know,
I
so,
think
I mean,
you all are a wonderful team.
because
Yeah.
I need words. Because I don't write, but I can draw my tail off.
I got plenty of them waiting. In fact, my friend Cassie Sade said she's gonna publish some of them soon for me.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna work with Alex too.
Now, Miss or Sojourner,
Yes.
why don't you let people know how they can reach you?
Well, I would say that, you know, I have believe it or not, I've got about 6 or 7 pages on Facebook. So the first key to getting to me on Facebook is SK Roll. That's my primary name. And then I have Sojourner Kincaid Roll, my author page. But I put up an eclectic amount of pages. I have one for kids, The Yellow Mellow Global Umbrella, which is my previous children's book. And I try and I'm creating my Juneteenth poem page, Free at Last, my Juneteenth poem. I don't have it programmed yet, but it will be, and I'm going to be putting up everything Juneteenth, all my reviews and all of that stuff. It's a lot. It's a whirlwind going on, and I'll put up a lot of stuff. But if you just Google me, Sojourner Kincaid Roll, and you mentioned you were going to play a video. If you put Sojourner Kincaid Roll and then tap on videos as opposed to images, there's a number of my videos. I record poems. I consider myself a public poet and a political poet and a Black poet. So all of those things, I think you'll find things there that represent me. And I've got a lot of poems on Poem Hunter. So all you need to know is my name, and I'm spread out all over the place.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we have, I believe it's Susan, I'm not sure, but she says she's the editor who had the honor of working with these 2 remarkable creators.
Oh, Susie, sure.
Susie, okay, wonderful. And it is a highlight of my 22-year career as a book editor. Well, I mean, this book, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful book. And I love this book. It would definitely it's definitely a doc favorite. I mean, we already got a book with doc copy on it. So we're going to always keep this in the bookstore. And so please, if you have not ordered the book, please go to our website and get your copy. Now we're gonna close out with the video. Oh, before we close though, is there any closing remarks from you, Alex? Anything you want to close out with?
No, I think the book is a historic documentation of an event that sort of need to be recognized. And also not only writers, but artists should be encouraged to sort of produce their own stuff. Especially African-American artists. We need more of us, and we need more writers. We need more actors and singers and more African-Americans in the arts.
That's right. we know the stories, we carry the stories, that's what even classes I teach. I feel like I'm not teaching people to write a poem, I'm teaching people to express themselves and tell their story because they're the ones who know it. And I think there's a story writer, a poem writer in every family.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have a closing remark? Is that it? Do you want to share anything
Well,
else?
do you know which video it is you're going to close out with? I think it's the one from, that's the video with my doing the voice and it has images. Do you know which one?
Let me, I'm about to do a screen share, but it is that video. Do you want to make a comment?
I just wanted to say that before I heard from Sterling Books, the year before that in maybe 2019 or 2020, I got a call from a video company in Dallas, and they said they needed to make a PSA. They've been asked by the Chamber of Commerce to make a PSA for Juneteenth. And they had come across my poem like on the internet and asked if they could use it. And so I did. I called them and I was speaking with them on the phone. He said, well, we were going to get a teenager to do this, but we like your voice. Would you mind sending us a recording? So I sent them the recording of me reading the poem. And I think it turned out beautiful. A lot of the images are war images, there's different images there. Alex's images are, more family friendly and more, universally friendly. But I think the video that they made was fantastic. And I think it's had over 5,000 views. And probably since I looked last, it probably had a lot more. So I give a shout out to DVS, I think is the name of the company, but it was a Dallas company, Texas again, who reached out and asked to use that poem. Yeah.
Okay, and let me see if I can pull it up. We've been having issues with our thing, but hold on. Hold on for a second here. I believe this is it. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Okay, let me see. There it is. I'm going to get this started, you guys. I'm not leaving until we do it. Hold on. Wait a minute. I know what I need to do.
Okay, so while you're doing that, if I could say one more thing, several people have made recordings of the poem. Our Juneteenth Santa Barbara Hero recorded it, had 3 young women record it last year. And then there's another young woman who had put up a video of it. So I just really appreciate all the ways. And I think that when I write out, I'm hoping that people will replicate what I have written. I kind of say it myself so you hear how it goes, but I really feel it's open to the world to make as many recordings and readings in their houses or whatever. Reading it out loud, reading a poem, there's nothing like the feeling of saying the words with your body, how it feels in your body to read a poem out loud. So I really encourage people to teach their young people to say it or let them learn to read it. It's a wonderful experience. That's my PSA.
Hey, you know what? Y'all see it?
You're not sure.
General Granger brought the news.
I can hear it.
The war is over.
It's playing.
Decreed, the Emancipation Proclamation declares, all who live in bondage here shall from now until be free. After 300 years of forced labor,
they're not seeing it though.
I can hear it.
We can hear it.
Maybe
you could
go away. Okay. What I'm going to do is go ahead and share this in the link. That's the YouTube clip I was trying to share. So if y'all can just click on that and pull it up, it's a beautiful YouTube. We have another event coming up, so we're about to close it out. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much, Ali Boxtick, for
You're
taking
welcome.
time out. You're a
Yeah.
beautiful illustrator. Thank you so much, Sojourner Kincaid Rowe. I appreciate you. We're going to be in conversation again.
Okay.
And thank you all who's in our audience, who joined in with us on this evening and just supported the event. We appreciate you as well. Have a happy Juneteenth and celebrate freedom.
You too.
And free at last.
Free at last. Thank God Almighty.
God Almighty.
Free at last.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
right,
you.
bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.